Good morning, it's all kicking off today, isn't it? It's lunchtime, my second video of the day already for the treble winners. It looks like we've got some wonderful, incredible news. Firstly, if you are joining the channel, please do hit that subscribe button if you're a fan of this kind of regular City content. And of course, like the video as well. It does help support the channel massively. It does help support me. Third news, I am a bit run down today. Someone asked me in the video this morning, you got a bit of a cold today? I thought I didn't. I do, unfortunately. It does put the watch along later on potential in jeopardy, but we will see. But the big news is not the pancakes I had for breakfast either from the first chat this morning. It is this. It is this wonderful, exciting, breaking bit of news. It's a bit of transfer gossip, but the main reason I think we all should be here is this wonderful breaking news. Bernardo Silva has now verbally agreed to sign a new contract to Man City, according to FABRIZIO Romano. Formally confirmed his decision to the club. City expect Bernardo to sign contracts by the next week. Understand, new deal will be valid until 2026. We'll take him basically here for an extra, how many years is that basically? An extra 3 years basically. That'll do for me. Just 2026. Okay, it's not forever. But essentially, it's sort of like an extension, an improvement on his current contract. Gives him another 3 years here, which is wonderful news. Of course, I think we all want it to be longer, but I think the obvious intention here, the obvious mature discussion here, is he's turned around and said, I do want to move back home to Benfica when I'm a decent age. And they've gone, okay, fair enough. We would love you for another few years at least. Are you fine with that? Give you the money that you deserve. And he's gone, yeah, I'll sign a year extension. 3 years total. With obviously a massive wage increase up to the Greenish level or whatever, 300k a week, and he stays for the best parts of his career, and then he moves on if he wants to, if he doesn't stay. That is excellent news. You will not find a better bit of transfer news from Manchester City this summer than that. Bernardo Silva is a world-class, elite-level footballer. 3 more years of Bernardo Silva to 2026 would give us basically just close to a decade of Bernardo Silva. That's phenomenal news. We signed him in 2017. If we could get a decade, I think that'd be wonderful. But to have this confirmation, that would be wonderful news indeed. He's a special footballer, we know this as well, and absolutely that is the kind of news that deserves a like while you're there as well. Give this video a like if you're a fan of that kind of news. He's made the right choice. Look, I do think we all know the truth with Bernardo Silva. It's only till 2027, Cameron said. Well, maybe 2026. But the point is, he's not... Look, everyone goes, so what if he's only signed it extended for 1 year? The point is, he won't spend every summer now asking to leave. If he signs a new contract, he's not going to be here going next year, I want to leave. On the after that, I want to leave. Like, we know he's been wanting to leave for a while. This is his acceptance that actually his future's at Manchester City for a few years. This puts an end to that rumour. It brings in stability and it lets City move forward and Bernardo Silva move forward and concentrate on their football. That is the significance of this. We knew he was going to stay anyway for another year, but now we get 3 years guaranteed. Very least 2 years. He's not going to move in a year. He's not going to move in 2 years. Maybe in 3 years he will. Maybe in 2 years from now with a year left on his contract, he goes, I fancy a change. But the point is, Brian said he signed a new contract a bit ago. Actually, last time he signed a contract was about 3 years ago. And a lot has changed since then, He's been wanting to leave ever since. He signed it just before the pandemic, I think, which is a long time ago, But the world changed an awful lot then. He lived in Manchester during a pandemic, and it wasn't the best time. And I'm pretty certain he changed his view. But of course, the point, if he signs a new contract now, it means we get commitment from him, which is exactly the point. It is good news, It is good news. And Young Fresco said, how the hell do we replace KDB? Well, the potential replacement could also be Dani Olmo. Now, it has come from Di Marzio, so you take what you want with that. According to Di Marzio, City are monitoring Dani Olmo closely. However, Leipzig are not willing to sell, and it's expected that they'll ask for a very high fee. Pep appreciates Olmo. Yeah, indeed. The thing is, Dani Olmo is a fantastic player. He's a very Manchester City player, for what I will say. Look, I don't know if this will happen or not, but I really can't imagine that this isn't the kind of player they're interested in. A difficult negotiation, apparently. I mean, we've already been down that route once this summer. I can't see it either. But I do think City will be looking at people like Dani Olmo, and He's a cracking footballer. He's a really special footballer, Dani Olmo. He's very Guardiola. Very Guardiola. I believe that City would take Olmo in a heartbeat if they could. What you on about there? I don't know what you're on about, AO231, but I'm not getting involved in any politics there, mate. But either way, Dani Olmo is a cracking footballer. Like, he really is. He's just very, very Guardiola. I'll try and get this article translated. Let's see if it translates. It says Man City in the Premier League lost De Bruyne, blah, 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 to replacing Guardiola's dream is Leipzig's Dani Olmo. Dani Olmo has always been a pupil of Guardiola. Catalan like him. The coach wants to bring attacking midfield to the Sky Blue. Trying to understand the feasibility of the transfer. At the moment, Leipzig has no intention to play. He starred in the German Super Cup with a hat-trick against Bayern Munich. With a clause of 55 million euros will be active for next season. Negotiation Leipzig could currently make the player would be around 80 to 100 million euros. Different negotiation, but City still want to try. Look, the thing is, if it's around 80 to 100 million euros, 80 million euros would be about 67 million quid. City could afford that, you know. If they want to go for this, they could afford that. We all know that. I don't know if it'll happen or not, but I do know that he's a very good player, and the kind that would be attracted to Manchester City. He's creative, he's different, he's got a little bit of electricness to his game. Look. Paqueta as well as Olmo. I don't know. You know, could it be that they see him as an addition? Now, of course, City's resident in the know. Tweeter told me, did hint that Man City could be hunting a new player. Has Lauren Hem just scored? Well, yeah. Go on, Linus. As Brian said, told me was saying we might get a third player in, so maybe that's the one looking at. Maybe Olmo is the one in the works that City are hunting around and thinking, who could we get in? You know, Olmo is a cracking. I really rate him, by the way. I think every time we play Leipzig, he always looks smart and intelligent. You know, yeah, he's just a nice footballer, very Manchester City. Versatile as well. You kind of play, you can play out in the wing, play midfielder, even plays a false nine to an extent. It's just a smart footballer with immense technical ability. Imagine him in addition to Paqueta and Doku. It'd be wonderful, you know. Olmo on the left wing, potentially with Grealish, Bernardo, Doku. Cameron, I love it, mate. I absolutely love it. That depth would be the depth that Guardiola deserves. You know, Guardiola deserves that level of depth. I mean, it's not a downgrade as such as a different player. Foden is the long-term replacement, in my personal opinion. Foden's the potential replacement. And, I think you're probably downplaying just how good Olmo is, actually. I think he's a potential elite player. And he's not even that old either, is he, Olmo? He's still relatively decent age. How old is he? 25, yeah. To me, you can't replace De Bruyne. There is no one in world football that can replace De Bruyne. I think the most natural gifted talent to me is Foden, closely. I mean, maybe there is... I just saw a bit of news, by the way, as well. Maybe there's a bit of potential for, someone like Florian Wirtz potentially one day. I've just saw a bit of breaking news, by the way. Let me just go to the timeline. Where's Fabrizio gone? Apparently... Fabrizio said that McAtee, Ajax want McAtee. Let me just quote tweet this now. Excuse me, everyone. Discussing. Let me just quote tweet this to say I'm discussing this on the video right now. I mean, that's a hell of a basically. There we go. McAtee to potential Ajax. What do you reckon about that? That's an interesting one, isn't it? Super chat from Kubaz saying we'll be fine even with Paqueta. We've got Pep. You know what, Kubaz? I absolutely agree and get behind that message. I do. I think the difference is always Kevin. It's not Kevin De Bruyne. It's not Aguero. It's not Haaland. It's never has been. The elite difference has always been Pep Guardiola. I do genuinely believe it's as simple as that. Of course, he needs great players. And De Bruyne there is a great player. It makes things easier. But great players find a way, you know? Great players find a way. Great managers find a way. And I do believe that's true as well. But let's go back to the McAtee thing. McAtee to Ajax. What do we all reckon to that, potentially? That's crazy, man. I want to see James get a chance. I really do. Fabrizio said exclusive. Ajax had City talent. McAtee to the shortlisted case. Kudos leaves the club this summer. Imagine that, McAtee over Ajax. City rate McAtee highly, but Ajax set to approach and ask conditions. Because apparently Kudus are potentially going to replace Paqueta with Kudus, and then that would be a bit of a wild transfer merry-go-round. So you'd have Paqueta to City, McAtee to Ajax, and Kudus to West Ham. That would be a wild triangle potentially. I mean, it'd be a wonderful move for McAtee. I absolutely agree. I love James McAtee. I think he's a fantastic footballer. I don't want to sound negative, but does anyone else? I don't know. I feel like if he hung around, he would get football this season. It just feels like it's going to be very difficult for him. Like, I mean, a couple of years over at Ajax. I mean, that would be great news for him. But Olmo as well, another player linked to it. Maybe as Brillo says, we get 20, 30 million for him, and then we get a buyback of 45, 50 million. Someone like that, you know? Because I do think if he went to Ajax for a couple of years and played regularly, he would become, you know, a cracking player. He's just not fully there yet at the elite level, but, you know, that only comes with time and age. But James is a wonderfully gifted footballer. It's all going off today, isn't it, by the way? McAtee maybe to Ajax, Olmo linked, Bernardo Silva verbally agrees on a new contract. Laporte, as I discussed earlier, maybe going to Al Nassr in Saudi Arabia. And, of course, as well, we've got the Super Cup today. I've not even done my preview yet. I've not had time to do my match preview. At this point, is there any point me doing a preview? I don't even know if there is. And it's just video after video after video. And I hope you're all enjoying the billion videos. And I hope you're enjoying the new thumbnail style, by the way, as well. I'm just trying new things at the moment. I don't know if it's any good or not. But I am trying new things, you know. Sort of new fonts and everything. I don't know if it looks all right or not. Let me know if you like it. Olmo is on top of Paqueta and Doku. I agree. No, I agree. I think it will be, which would be... Look, that's the depth that we've been wanting a while. Our cryptic resident in the know said there could be something else on top of Paqueta and Doku last night with this sort of Star Wars kind of stuff. I am making my own thumbnails. I always have done. I do everything on my own, mate, on this channel. There's no outside input. Maybe this is what he was cooking. It's interesting, isn't it? I think it could be a bit of a special. Some of this could be a special summer. Also, by the way, if you like the video yet, come on, like, you know, you should like the video by now. 200 people watching. Why not? Come on, let's get up to 100 likes. I don't know how I feel about all this news potentially. Where would Olmo play if he came in with your guys? What do you reckon? Because Olmo, he's sort of... He can play on the left, can't he, as well? Like, he can play... Oh, God. Did someone just mention Keiki? Mate, Keiki's way off the level. I didn't think Keiki was good enough even when he was at Man City. Like, I watched him for a few games, and I got criticised on Twitter quite a bit. I watched him for about 5 games. I was like, he's not very good, actually. I just didn't really think he had the level of Manchester City. He felt... And I got kind of criticised for that. I was like, no, he just doesn't feel the level. And I think everything I've happened since then sort of proved me right. He's just a bit average, unfortunately, Keiki. But unfortunately, you know, I hope he has a good career elsewhere. Olmo, yeah, I thought he could play on the left. I've seen him source goals from that way. He can play in midfield as well. He can play on the right. Basically, he's really, really versatile. Paqueta can obviously play as an 8 as well. Doku was a right winger. Did you see that the Doku performance, by the way, from Rennes the other day? He was so good, man. He was so good. Absolutely electric. Just so much pace, you know. So much power, so much versatility. He's going to be such an asset if teams drop, you know, against us, and we need to beat him 1-on-1. Maybe over the top as well. We'll see. We'll see. Olmo has a release clause. Apparently, it's for next summer, though, Aaron. The only thing is, I reckon what could happen is potentially is that we might see a scenario where if he's got a release clause for next summer of like 60 million, you might go, well, if you give us 70 now, we'll get it done. And that could be enough. I mean, Olmo challenging. Let me just build a squad. I love doing this. I love building a squad. Hang on. God, I am not well today, unfortunately, guys. Bloody hell. Life as a parent. The little guy's not even in nursery yet, and I'm always ill. One day. I don't know what it is. Nicola wasn't well yesterday, so something's going around the house, you know. But it's only temporary. So let's start building this squad. Let's hypothetical if Olmo came in, all right? We all going to do this? Right, let's get the shape. Let's get the shape, you know, the rough shape. You know, let's get your man down here and so on and whatever. I love doing this because it's really interesting to see how he could look. So, well, I hope it'll be Ortega because obviously he's linked to Bayer, which I've not talked about yet, but that's potentially terrifying. Over here, Ake and Vardiol. Over here, it would be Diaz. Over here, Stones, Akanji. Then you'd have Kyle, Rico. I think you would then have like Jack, Olmo. If he came in, if we got it done, it'd be something like this, wouldn't it? You'd have. I'm gonna put out the right wing would be Silva and Doku. I mean, this already looks frightening, doesn't it? It looks really special. Obviously, Ha and Alvarez, and then over here would be. Well, here would be. I think we'd see Cover then instead of Calvin. Unfortunately for him. It'd be something like this, wouldn't it? It'd be, well, I mean, it would still be Phillips, but you'd have Foden, KDB when he's back, and then you'd have Paqueta and Cover. Like all of a sudden that, and obviously that's not without any of the young players like Palmer or McAtee and stuff. I mean, as soon as you see that depth there, it's just ridiculous, isn't it? Like. That's a really stunning amount of depth. It's unreal. It's unreal. Like that's unbelievable. Like I really, really like that. You've got everything potentially there. Absolutely ridiculous. Like if we could get that in, all of a sudden Guardiola's got this squad to win it all again. Like you need that level of depth. JTvo says not a fan of Doku pushing out the academy guys. Do you know what? I absolutely agree. The argument I would make is Doku's excessively different to them. Like, they don't bring what Doku can bring. Like, Alvarez great with Doku. No, Alvarez is not a good winger, mate. I love Alvarez, but he's not a winger, you know. We'd need to unregister free of Peroni, Laporte, Cancelo, Gomez. Well, there we go. There's all four of them be unregistered, pal. Peroni's definitely going. Laporte's going. Cancelo's going. Yeah, they're all going. We know that's true. Like, Laporte's going, Cancelo's going, Peroni's going on loan. I didn't even mention Gomez, I guess, you know. I mean, he'd be there. He'd just be hanging him out as a squad player, I guess, wouldn't he? I mean, we could do this if he's still here. I could put Ake here just to make it look even more padded out. And then Vardiol and Gomez. You know, I could do that to look. So we've got all the senior players. So all of a sudden, you've got such a... Cancelo will go on loan last minute. Pep's not letting him come back. He'd rather give him away for free. I guarantee you that. He's not even including any of the squads. No way, no chance. Look, I mean, if that happened, it'd be wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. It'd be this. I mean, that squad is just more than good enough. Of course, that Barco fella we've been linked to as well, Robertson Zinni hybrid. I mean, if you got him in, like, so if we had that Barco fella, who apparently is immense. I mean, that would be nice, wouldn't it, as well? I don't know if it could happen, but all of a sudden things look really, really impressive. I feel bad for Palmer too. I want Palmer to stay, by the way. I do. Absolutely do. But I can't pretend like really good footballers don't get me going, you know. They just do. They do. Phillips ain't going to play a game either. That guy should move on. It'd be Kovacic. Kovacic will play at 6 instead of Phillips. Either way, you know, we've got... an immense amount of talent there, potentially, if we get those jobs done, get those signings done. But guys, just a very quick video anyway, talking about the breaking news. Of course, let's go back to the start of this video, because I've not been, you know, it's been a long time since the start of this video already. The breaking news at the start of this was that Bernardo Silva has verbally agreed a new contract, which is obviously absolutely massive, you know. FABRIZIO... to 2026 apparently, but basically what we get there is another 3 years guaranteed of Bernardo Silva, which I'm buzzing about. You know, it's his way of saying I'm going to stay, and in 3 years' time I'll move on, but I'll go home. I'll go back to Benfica, you know, with a family, with a little toddler at that point. I love it. I absolutely love it. And Cole on loan, maybe Olmo linked as well. So much going on. So much going on. For now though, go watch the video this morning where he's talked about Laporte as well, going to Al Nassr. The video yesterday, did you catch the episode of The Rivals yesterday? I know some of you did this morning, mentioned it. But if you didn't watch it yesterday, it's a really good chat. My new series where every week I'll be looking at both over the game weeks. I had Leas from SDS on. If you haven't caught that, go watch it. It's a really good video, I promise you. Well worth a watch. For now, though, I'm going to go have a shower, get out of bed properly, because this morning got up early, breakfast with the little guy, did a video. Then I went back to bed, I'm not going to lie, because I'm feeling well. We had a family nap. This is very true, very quaint. All three of us went to sleep because we were knackered. I got out of bed as the Bernardo Silva news happened, so I jumped on the video. So I'm going to try and recover for later on for the live stream. For now, love you all loads. Like for Bernardo. Bye-bye. Subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you in a bit.